Hi guys, great to be here with you today. We return to the point in the book of Esther, a cliffhanger. I hope that the bad guy Haman, or I suppose H for short, hasn't kept you awake at night this week, not knowing what's going to happen. The evil plan of killing all the Jews seems to be going swimmingly. And naturally all the Jews in the area are just in bits. Great mourning, weeping, fasting and wailing, as the Bible describes it. And I'm sure we'd be doing the same thing if we were in their shoes. Mordecai found out what was happening. After all, there were signs posted all over the kingdom. Living in the palace, Esther was unaware of the plan at first until Mordecai told her. Mordecai knew that Esther could help, not only him, but all the Jews, and not forgetting that Esther was a Jew as well, although no one really knew it at the time. Surely Esther couldn't bank on keeping that secret until the day passed. You'd be too worried, you'd be too scared. Mordecai wanted Esther to make a stand, to use the position she had for good, to speak out for what she thought was right. I wonder if anyone has actually done that before. Maybe Esther was the first to do this kind of thing. Or maybe someone else has done this kind of thing before, making a stand for what they thought was the right thing to do. Well, whoever might have been before, Esther plucked up the courage to do that, knowing full well that anyone who goes to the king who hadn't been summoned could well be executed. Like last week, we ended on a cliffhanger. And like I said, Esther could be such an amazing film or TV series. And today is no different. This part of Esther ends with Esther sending this reply to Mordecai. Go gather together all the Jews who are in Susa and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, nights or day. And I and my attendants will fast as you do. When this is done, I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish. Wow, powerful words. What will the king say? What will happen to Esther? What will Haman, what will Haman do when he finds out? But one thing is for sure though, and that is that Esther had a position of power. She could have just sat back in her rich, expensive life, keeping her head down, looking out for herself, but she didn't. She used the position she had for good. We can all be in a position of power. Well, maybe not to the level of being a queen, but we can all be in a place where we have a choice to either look after ourselves or look to the benefit of others at the expense of ourselves. Esther knew that she could die by doing that. We might not live in a world that extreme, but I think it's important to look at the bravery and courage of Esther and think about how we can act in a similar way. And the answer to what happens next, well, that is to be continued. See you next week.